Well, hello there, friend. Welcome back to the Construction Leadership Podcast. I am your host, Bradley Hartmann. Last week, I met up with a small group of other business owners that we get together every quarter, every 6 months to just check in on what's changing, and we're all in different industries to learn from each other, and it's kind of a form of corporate leadership therapy. And one of these business owners was commenting that these last 6 months specifically, he had felt so exhausted and burnt out with a level of panic that had been coming from both his customers and his employees. And the comment that struck me as most interesting was, as he is in the finance world, was if you woke up on January 1st of 2025, and then you went to sleep and you didn't wake up again until June 30th, and you looked at the Standard & Poor's 500, if you looked at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, you might come to the conclusion that nothing really happened because the S&P 500 was only down 1% between January 1st and June 30th. Meanwhile, the Dow Jones was up 3.2%. And on a long enough timeline, you'd say, I don't know, that looks generally flat. Now, if you have been, in fact, awake during this entire time, there's been lots of fluctuations. As the tariffs come and go, we have all this economic uncertainty. It has been a wild ride. And as we're talking about this idea of panic, somebody raised their hand and said, that begs the question, can you teach poise? Obviously, you can model it, this idea like Admiral James Stockdale that we talked about 2 episodes ago, this courage under fire. And we know that when we see great leaders, but is it something that you can teach? And I pointed to this financial advising company owner and said, you, my friend, several years ago turned me on to a person who I believe on a monthly basis helps train me to be poised, or whatever is the most poised I can possibly be, and that is certainly up for debate. Whatever that level is, I wasn't like this before, and over time I've been conditioned to think this way by one man. And this one man is Nick Murray. Nick Murray is the personification of the first few lines of the Rudyard Kipling poem, If. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. Nick Murray is a former financial advisor, and then he became a national sales manager, leading other sales managers. And for the last 25 years or so, he has been writing a monthly newsletter called the Nick Murray Interactive. And really, his core customers are individual financial advisors. And obviously, I am not that. However, my friend recommended I read it because he is just so clear in his thinking. And even if you are not a financial advisor, but you want to read clear thinking, something that will help you be smarter about money in the hopes of accumulating more money, by not doing stupid stuff, you should read Nick Murray. And that's what I've been doing. And Nick Murray, in his July edition of his Nick Murray Interactive newsletter, he confirms what my friend was talking about. He said what had happened in the first half of this year was a raging, full-blown investor panic. In point of actual fact, the 7th such panic over the last 25 years. And if we as leaders want to demonstrate poise and we want to earn trust and help people when they are losing their minds, it was this one paragraph that really caught my attention that was really about emotional control. And it was about controlling what you could control and understanding human nature. And he said, we behavioral investment counselors, and that's what he continually comes back to. He calls his tribe of financial advisors behavioral investment counselors. He says, we behavioral investment counselors were born for this. Once again, our belief that the economy can't ever be successfully forecast, nor the market ever timed, has been validated. Anyone who reacted to any of these panics by going to cash is surely in a state of the most intense and unrelieved regret. His portfolio will never catch up. His plan, if he ever had one, is in pieces on the ground. His retirement is at grave financial risk, if it isn't already doomed. And why? Because, unaided by one of us, human nature never learns. He writes, at its deepest behavioral core, wealth management represents the advisor's ceaseless struggle against our client's immutable human nature. Now, his entire argument here is this. Our job is to engender trust and display empathy and reinforce to your customers that we have a plan. And while everybody is losing their heads, we stick to the plan. And he always talks about this fundamental point that you own companies, not stocks. Because when you talk about owning Amazon or owning Apple or owning Nike, these are all companies that in good times and bad are adaptable. Think about the companies that you work for. Now, you may or may not be publicly traded, but my guess is you are thinking along the same lines. We will get through this. We are adaptable. We will adjust, and we will continue to thrive no matter what the market throws at us. And this role as a trusted advisor is to say, keep your eyes on me. Stay focused. Don't worry about what's happened over there to the right. Don't worry about what's happened over there left. Look at me. Do you see me? I'm breathing calmly. I am poised. Listen to what I'm saying. We have a thoughtful, specific plan. Let's stay the course.
If you had to use a few adjectives or descriptive phrases to describe the characteristics of what you consider to be a great financial advisor, what would those words or phrases be? What should advisors strive for? And what should the investing public look for when hiring an advisor?
The word that comes to mind is empathy. What do I ask of an advisor? What do I think is the most valuable thing an advisor not so much does, but is? And that's to be highly empathetic. And we could spend the whole rest of the time on that, but empathy not only as a value, but as a bridge to trust, because we will all get sooner or later to the point where they're panicking. We say, don't panic. And they can't find it in their toolbox not to panic. And yet they don't because of us. And to me, that's a singularly empathetic exchange of emotions. Has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with anything but a person who's out there trying to deal with pressing uncertainty and being very badly equipped, because he's human, to deal with that uncertainty. And here comes this person that he trusts beyond reason, literally beyond reason. And the person says, stand fast.
Yeah.
Turn off CNBC, log out of your account, keep looking in my eyes, don't look to the left or the right. This is going to pass. I can't tell you how, can't tell you when. I can just tell you what you really need to know is that this too shall pass. Just keep looking at me. After N number of years in the business, I'm hard pressed to see what in the world else it's supposed to be about.
Now, the July edition of the Nick Murray Interactive largely goes through and brings back from the past each of the last 7 panics that we've been involved in over the last quarter century. And when people say, hey, you got to know history or else you're going to repeat it, this is what he's talking about. He's saying, let's learn from history. Let's keep it top of mind so we can help those we serve better. Now, in every newsletter that I would strongly recommend you get, if you like money and you like being smart about thinking about money and want somebody that you just feel can help you stay more calm and collected and poised during whatever uncertain times we have, I'd recommend you pay the $350 and get his newsletter every single month. In every edition, you'll see a question and an answer, at least one, and a lot of them are very similar. And it's a question like this: with the U.S. debt level where it is, $37 trillion and counting, do you have any thoughts on how this will affect the U.S. equity markets in the long term? And his answer is a demonstration of poise and long-term thinking. He says, I am not interested in the markets per se and can't project the interplay between them and the government's deficit or debt. No shame in me for this. Neither can anyone else. I'm a long-term investor in broadly diversified portfolios of great American companies, which have always triumphed over any and every seemingly intractable macroeconomic problem and which will surely continue to do so. What he's saying is, you know what I'm doing? Whether the market's high, whether the market crashes, you know what I'm doing? I'm making a long-term play on really smart people who are engaged in capitalism, finding a way to overcome. And when the market is down, guess what? Dollar cost average, I'm getting these companies, not stocks, companies cheaper, and they will overcome. This too shall pass. So in answer to my friend's question, do I think you can teach poise? I'm not sure I can, but I do believe I can model it, and I do believe poise can be trained. And for me, that has come from reading Nick Murray. And nope, it's not construction related at all. It's about money. It's about history. It's about mindset. It's about controlling what you can control. And to help you improve your thinking about poise as a leader, here are the next two stanzas in the poem If by Rudyard Kipling. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. That, my friend, is poise. That's what Nick Murray is all about, understanding that our current triumph or our current disaster or anything in between, it's temporary. It's an imposter. As always, thank you for listening. We will close out with our leadership mantra. You, my friend, are owed nothing. Deliver value first. Make it a great week.